Thank you for having us today. So, good morning, judges. My name is Gia, and joining me today are my teammates Queen, Uyanga, and Tanya, and we are Nagoya Warriors representing Nagoya University, Japan. So, nice to meet you all. So, recently we have seen a more global recognition of Asian Americans in the entertainment industry. So, regarding music, for us student, probably Joji is one of the most familiar names. Joji's Glimpse of Us peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 Songs chart, and his name became more known on a global scale. Contributing to this success is 88 Rising, which is found in 2015. And this is an American music company that founder Sean Miyashiro describes as a hybrid record label, artist management, media, and marketing company. Miyashiro visions 88 Rising to be the Vice for the Asian culture, focusing on Asian rap, a niche market that might appeal to young Asian consumers in the United States and beyond. However, seeing the rise of 88 Rising, other label records such as Universal or Warner started to enter the game of Asian music. Then, what should be the next step for growth? Should 88 Rising be a niche player and with a unique and strong brand image, or should it diversify itself with its music genre and target audience, scaling up its business by risking the dilution of its brand image? To answer this question, we have analyzed 88 Rising itself, its competitors, and its potential audience. Regarding 88 Rising, we have conducted a SWOT analysis to see the strength of it, also the weaknesses, opportunity, and the threats. So 88 Rising definitely has a distinct brand name with a strong online presence of 6.8 million subscribers on YouTube, let alone millions of subscribers on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It also has several successful current artists such as Joji, as I mentioned before, Nicki, Higher Brothers, and so on. However, certainly has a reliance on these current artists as well. It also has a strong dependency on the CEO, who has a lot of connections with the other artists in the industry. However, it also has a potential cross-cultural disputes regarding the Asian American community. Regarding the opportunities, 88 Rising has some wider potential customers in Asia as well, not just Asian Americans in the US. It also has conducted several brand collaborations with McDonald's, Porsche, and Guess, and it has shown to be quite successful. 88 Rising also has certain focus on artist development and talent acquisition. So they don't just focus on having profits, but more of developing the artists themselves as well. However, recently, 88 Rising also faced certain threats of losing brand loyalty if ever they want to upscale their business. And upscaling also requires a lot of money and effective management as well. It has faced intense competition with the sub-company that other big record labels are trying to produce in the market. And it also have a changing music trends. So people don't just want to listen to rap songs, but also want to listen to R&B and folk, which their artist is also trying to work on recently. Regarding the competitors analysis, we have jotted down the 3 other labels that are trying to focus on the Asian artists as well. So Universal Music China from Universal, Off-Mute from Sony, and ASP Records. So definitely regarding awareness, 88 Rising has more and more awareness on social media with millions of followers on Instagram and thousands of followers on Twitter and TikTok. However, other companies only have a few hundreds to thousand followers on these platforms. Regarding the artist diversity, definitely, as I mentioned before, these companies trying to focus on Asian artists. However, for Universal Music China, Off-Mute and 88 Rising, they focus on certain artists, for example, China, Southeast Asia, or Asian Americans. But Asiatic Records, they're trying to focus more on Asian artists as a whole. Regarding the genre, if you can see here, Universal Music and China have tried to focus on any types of music that the artists want to work on. However, for Asiatic Records and 88 Rising, they're trying to focus on the niche of rap hip hop, and 88 Rising are trying to having some R&B and folk because the main artists want to do so. In terms of financial support, definitely Universal Music and Off-Mute and Asiatic Records have a better financial support because it comes from a bigger label records, Universal, Sony, and Warner. However, 88 Rising is an independent music label record, and the net worth is 7 million USD. So to have a better image of the audience, now I will give my stage to my teammate Queen to analyze this case.
Thank you, Tia, for the introductions. So currently we're analyzing 5 main countries: America, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. Although that in America, Singapore, and Indonesia have had their usage in 88 Risings, the 3 other countries have not been familiarized with the company yet. In the USA, rap remains to be comprises the majority, making us believe that 88 Risings should still keep the advantage of Asian American music in the market. Moving forward to other countries, pop remains the most famous genre, for example, 54% in Singapore, yet hip-hop tends to rank 2nd or 3rd as well. This analysis is essential to the development of our method in the next sections. Before answering the question of whether 88 Risings should keep its niche or expand itself, we conducted a market analysis of 4 Southeast Asia countries: Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore. The reasons why we target these 4 countries are because of the new yet flourishing industries that could potentially bring about billions of profits in the future. As for Vietnam, the country is expected to grow its music industry from 44.30% for million USD in 2021 to 66.9 million USD in 2025. The country also has a growth rate of 18.5% in 2021, and recent years have recognized a popularity of music TV shows in Vietnam. For example, the Rap Battle, which has 700,000 viewers in just one episode. In Indonesia, Indonesia recorded a growth rate of 11.92% from 2022 to 2033. Yet, as currently it is only May of 2023, we could expect the number to increase even more. For Thailand, Thailand is one of the very few countries that receive government support for their music industry, 431.9 million per year, according to Global Voice. And also Thailand recorded a increase of 4.45% after in 4 years. Lastly, Singapore. Although being a fairly small country, Singapore still has an annual growth rate of 7.67% for its music industry, not a bad number. Starting from 2017, there has always been a steady and constant increase in the revenues for music industry in Singapore. So, if we are to diversify, what would be our pros and cons? These are not only the pros and cons of diversifications, but we also analyze the pros and cons of the upscaling going through with the diversifications. Of course, diversification means that 88 Rising would have a bigger audience base, not only targeting their current markets such as USA or Indonesia. They can also expect to earn more from more markets. A more diverse base of artists with more genres mean that we could have a higher adaptability. The customers will more likely to accept the music, support the music, and thus boost ourselves. Lastly, cultural diversification. Currently, 88 Rising is promoted to connect the East and the West through the music. With diversification and expansion into the Asian market, we believe that 88 Risings would get a more general grasp of the audience as well as create their own selling point. Yet it is not without any difficulties. As also mentioned in the case study, diversifications could weaken the brand image. Yet I believe the pros of cultural diversification that I just mentioned before would become a new selling point for 88 Risings that I could mention in the media. And the diversification leads to management difficulties and also potential loss of rap-based fans who are not happy with our diversification decision.
So with these analysis, we have come up with a strategy that comes within the 88 Rising itself: internal rising, growing internally forever, with a 2 main strategy: collaboration and partnership. Collaboration with potential artists and partnership with the current strategy that we have always been implementing. In order to have a better but more detailed image, I will give my stage back to Queen to have a more general idea.
First, we would like to collab with locally famous artists. This is mainly because as 88 Rising is a new company, that would be better for them to collab with locally famous artists to test the market before going all in and bearing all of the costs. Then the question that might arise is how exactly are we going to collab? That's why we present here a chart of the process. First, we'd make a contract and decide the measurements of success. As for measurement of success, we measure for two main things: social media coverage and the YouTube videos, views or likes. We also, afterward, we would contact the artist, and for interested artists, we would sign with them, produce, and then publish the songs. For those who are not interested in us, we would look into another alternative in the market as well and start the process again. After publishing the process, we would have some time to wait and receive the feedback. If the feedback is good, then we would love to sign long-term contracts with these locally famous artists. Eventually, when the process is well established and we have certain long-term artists with us, we will going to conduct an 88 Rising rap battle. Why rap battle? It is because of the rising popularities of TV talent shows. According to NBC News, talent shows rank #1 in the rating success rates in the USA. And Vietnam also recently received very good grades for the TV show. It is a way for us as a music label company to identify the talents, acquire the talents, solving one of the risks that we mentioned in the SWOT analysis, too much dependency on the current artist. We also maintain try to maintain the rap heavy image of the label. They could bring huge revenue in the future. For example, a Korean survival show is currently having a revenue of $3 billion after 12 episodes. Their existing artists as judges is mainly to use their currently famous names in the markets to market our show and also provide them with more incentives to sign with 88 Risings. Now we will have my friends to talk about partnership.
Thank you, Quinn. Aside from collaborating with different artists and initiating the rap battle program as part of diversification, we also propose for 88 Rising to join partnerships as well. We divide our partnership into two parts. First, partnership with music-related production. For example, producing original soundtracks for movies or series. 88 Rising already has experience as well as reputation from producing the soundtracks for Marvel's Shang-Chi. And as Asian pop culture is on a rise right now, from movies like Crazy Rich Asians and Everything Everywhere All at Once, our team see this as an opportunity to venture more into working with film productions. One market opportunity we see as possible is in the Thai drama, specifically Thai boy love dramas. According to Bangkok Post, in 2022, Thailand's BL content market was worth higher than $28 million, and the popularity is still rising. With the audience from many countries around the world, such as China, Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, Latin America, and also the Asian Americans in the Western countries. Another music-related partnership we see as an opportunity is to feature 88 Rising music in fashion shows. Specifically, in Asian theme or Asian-based fashion show to both support the Asian designers and the brand at the global level while expanding the music to wider audience. We think music can be incorporated into fashion shows to better create ambience and better connect with the consumers. In addition to that, we would also like to partner with other lifestyle brands as well. Currently, 88 Rising has partnership project with Guess, Porsche, Puma, and also McDonald's. And the partnerships cover a broad range of consumers from high-end to lower ends. The brands that 88 Rising partner with are also of those with big coverage base with a lot of followers on social media. And 88 Rising also partner with various kinds of lifestyle products. So we see this partnership with lifestyle brands has been successful for 88 Rising so far. So further partnership like this seem promising as a great way to increase our brand exposure and access to wider customer base. One potential partnership that our team has proposed is with Japan's convenience store Family Mart to produce the store promoting song, for example. Family Mart is a well-known convenience chain store, particularly in Asian markets. And 88 Rising has significant influence with Asian and Asian American communities. So by partnering with Family Mart, 88 Rising can further solidify its connection with the Asian market and leverage the popularity of Family Mart stores to engage with the target audience. And partnership with Family Mart could also give 88 Rising branding and merchandise being featured in those convenience stores as well. And next, I would like to pass the mic on to Uyanga.
Thank you, Quinn. No, thank you, Tanya. We set the budget for the production expenses to be $25,000 per episode, per 10 episode for our competition cost. And also for the judges, we will be offering our artists $30,000 each, and we will be hiring 588 rising artists for the judges. And also for the marketing promotion, since we have big following on social media, we won't be using much of the budget towards the marketing. So we expect to set aside $20,000 for marketing. And for the prize of the winner would be signing with 88 Rising label, and $50,000 would be their prize. So this makes up our cost of $470,000. And in terms of benefit, we will be generating $80,000 from advertising revenue and $25,000 from streaming and digital rights. And also we plan to release the show on YouTube and get $90,000 for the revenues. And we'll calculate this using $0.18 per views. And also we will be selling seats for the show and get revenues also. We expect $30,000 from the seats, including VIP and ordinary seats. In this case, our cost is $47,000 and benefit is $495,000, and this exceeds the cost. We must mention that benefit is likely to increase through the YouTube views also. Regarding the feature, we will be offering $10,000 plus royalties of the song to the featuring artist, and we will promote the music for $10,000 using our social media, and we'll set aside $20,000 for music video and production. For the benefit, we expect to get $50,000 in 2 years after the contract plus royalties, and this brings us cost of $40,000 plus royalties, and benefit also outweighs the cost because we expect $50,000 plus royalties in 2 years, and we expect to sign the artist for more than 2 years. Moving on to our timeline. This is a short-term timeline, so we will find and collaborate with artists starting from the present, and if it's successful, we will be signing them after 5 months. And from that on, we will be signing them to our label, developing their image and audience, and also to boost their new artist's image and to promote them further, we will prepare the rap competition after signing. And also, this will help us recruit new talent as well. For the partnership, this is an example of a partnership, and since we're focusing on low-end partner right now, a benefit of focusing on low-end partner is that it's feasible and does not take much time as clothing or shoes. So for example, for 3 months, we will try to find suitable partners and propose the idea until the 5th month and prototype and marketing until the 1st year. And then we launch and try to grasp the public opinion and evaluation. Regarding risk mitigation, there's a high risk of losing our brand image after diversifying and upscaling. So we'll be releasing a documentary on 88 Rising and its history to keep our brand image and engage ourselves with the rap music. And second, although given our success, it's likely to unhappen, but it's unlikely to happen, but there's also a risk of collaboration being not so successful, then we would not be signing the deal and focus on partnership deals instead. So for the third, there's a risk of losing fans. Then we would try to incorporate rap music with traditional elements. And also, lastly, there's a moderate risk of losing our existing artists, and this will strongly impact our label. Then we will be focusing more on talent acquisition.
In conclusion, we want 88 Rising to keep its uniqueness, creativity, and also promote diversity at the same time. To upscale and diversify both the music genre and target audience, we propose 2 main operations: collaboration and partnership. We propose that 88 Rising should expand its music genre and make collaboration with the rising Asian local artists in order to expand and reach to more Asian and Asian American listeners. Along with that, we propose the Asian Rap Battle Project with function both ways to promote our existing artists and also finding new artists. Another operation is the partnership. We propose various possible partnerships with a broad range of media types and brands. Utilizing our current network, we can expand our network further and increase the label's global reach. And that is it for our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention, and we would welcome any question from the judges.
Thank you, and exactly on time. Amazing timing for this presentation. Can we put the 50 minutes Q&A timer on the screen? Yes, so there will be time for 50 minutes of Q&A. Judges, as soon as you start asking your first question, we will start the timer. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I just want to understand a lot of your analysis. It seems like a break even. You're saying the cost is 400 some odd, and then the revenue. What is your projection from a growth rate perspective? And particularly you're competing with some very largely funded competitors by the other label.
Thank you for your question. Since we're competing with like larger label, the one thing that distinguishes us is that we already have successful current artists. So that means we will get more exposure. And also revenues from YouTube does not only stop at a certain level, it'll continue to grow. And also we will also try to like expand further for like Netflix show or Hulu, for example, a TV show for like 88 Rising Rap Battle.
And you talk about, collaboration with already locally famous artists. Have these artists already been signed by any local record labels, and that, you might actually need to incur extra costs to actually get these locally famous artists to 88 Rising?
Thank you for your question. So indeed, actually, as our teammates, we also thought about this problem before, and we kind of did some research into the market, and that we mentioned that we're gonna want to focus on the 4 main markets before: Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand. So far in Vietnam, as we have conducted the research, most of the artists themselves, they are independent and they don't actually have a company backing up behind them. But of course, we would admit that for other countries, then there would be a possibility of them having their company already, and then we would need to and that would lead to our contracts and how we make the contracts so that we could still agree with the artists in the terms of profit sharing, but as well as to keep our costs in control.
To add on to that, there's already 88 Rising artists signed with multiple labels, such as Jackson Wang signed to JYP label from Korea too, and for BB, she's also signed with other label in Korea as well. So there are many artists that sign with multiple labels.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the presentation. I'm interested in your view of the the management capacity to actually diversify as you are suggesting. So clearly diversification means doing something different, and the management team and the management structures at the moment are as they are. So are they capable of supporting the diversification? And if there is any adjustment required, would that affect your cost analysis that you have done? So my question is really about management bandwidth to do what is being proposed and the cost of any potential changes. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So regarding the management costs and benefits, so it's good. It's true that like 88 Rising is having if we ever to upscaling diversification, there is a lot of management things going on here. But the good thing is we having right now is that 88 Rising is having a so-called hybrid management. So it's not like we only stay in one place, but from my understanding is we have a lot of HR in different, having a lot of like resources in different countries as well. So it's not just about the American-based management, and also we have connection with other country. So if my teammate want to add on, please feel free, Tanya.
I guess to add on to that, we're thinking of upscaling, but we see it as an investment. We know that it's a lot of money. It's gonna cost a lot of money, but we see it as long-term investment where we acquire talent and more expertise employee for future development. So it's more of a long-term goal for us. Thank you.
If I can understand, in terms of how would you monetize, you talk a lot about streaming the videos and the competition. How does those translate into revenues and profit? Because what you have demonstrated so far seems to be mostly break-even type of initiative.
For advertising revenue, since we've mentioned before, there are a lot of brands that are interested in us, such as Porsche, such as McDonald's and everything. So we will get advertising revenue from promoting their products as in our show. And for the revenue from YouTube is mostly from advertisement that are set from YouTube.
Have you quantified any of what's on the screen right now?
Yes. For example, the least that you can get from an ad per view on YouTube is $0.18. And we quantified using the average view from the 88 Rising channel.
And so this already include the monetization, this particular page. In terms of your collaboration and diversification, these are the full financial figure?
To add, sorry, thank you for your question. So to add on to Uyanga answer, I think this is just the cost and benefit, like the monetization of the competition itself. However, for now, 88 Rising already have a YouTube website, YouTube page for about like 6 million followers, and they constantly producing videos and gaining revenues from that. And the projection that Uyanga expected is just the least projection only from YouTube. And if I would like to go back from this partnership from Guess, Porsche, and Puma, and McDonald's, for example, Guess, all of the collaboration, like the clothing that they sell, is already sold out. So we couldn't find the financial number for this yet, but it seems to have a very successful collaboration, and they gain revenue from this. And also recently, just one day ago, they launched the Porsche X Puma shoes collaboration, and it has been to see like a lot of hot and trending. It seems to be a hot and trending topic on the internet. And for McDonald's, it's also a low cost collaboration, whereas they just produce the envelope where you can put money for the new year. And McDonald's has said this to be penetration, or like the gold, to help them to get more customers during the new year. So that's why in these cost and benefit, it's just about the new products and new strategies that we're having. And currently, we also have looked at the revenue of 88 Rising, that they have 2.5 revenues every year. So I think that it's not that they are breaking even, but actually they are making profits. And we're thinking of these things as a new development and investment for the future, so that they can upscale their process while also maintaining their brand image.
Thank you.
Can I also ask that when you're partnering with the brands that you mentioned on the other slide, like McDonald's or even Family Mart, you're expecting that your genre would diversify away from rap, given the audience, as you said, is very broad range, and I cannot imagine a majority of Family Mart would necessarily, audience would necessarily listen to rap music. So is that the goal, that competition, you are focusing on rap, but at the same time you're diversifying into other genres through a partnership?
Thank you for your question. So Actually, for this kind of partnership, we don't focus on just rap music, but if you can see here, we have clothing, we have shoes, we have envelope. So having Family Mart example is not for about rap music, and as Tanya mentioned, it's like a short for example, it's a short record for Family Mart. For example, I know it's more of like a Japan culture, but if you go into Family Mart, usually they have this kind of music. So like those kind of music that we're thinking of can be a potential product. But also I think that 88 Rising are very open to having different collaboration products as well. It doesn't have to be music.
I guess to add to that, like you said, we are not only focusing on rap. We want to expand the genre as well. We want to diversify. And which kind of music, I think it would depends on which partnership and who is our partner target audience. So I think the type of genre of our partnership could varies based on our partnership. Thank you.
So just a follow-up question. So, sorry, go ahead.
So I just want to say that the current artist of 88 Risings currently is not also just limited to the rap, although rappers are still the most famous, but there's still other artists that could fit into this partnership that we're talking about.
Okay, so then just a quick follow-up question to that. If you could please go back to the beginning of your slide pack in terms of the market analysis slide. So what do you think it's the potential, what is the actual size of the TAM, like the total addressable market that we're looking at? Because I think there is a slide where there's like a pie charts, like, where actually for Southeast Asia, rap, it's probably like a small proportion of it, pop, it's still dominating. So what is the actual TAM that you think 88 Rising could actually tap into?
So to clarify the questions, so you want to ask like when will we tap into the rap portions?
For example, you see traditional music, it's actually a third of Singapore's market, like which maybe potentially is not the market that you want to tap into. So what is the actual size of the market that you think you can penetrate in these 5 markets? Would it be hip hop plus pop? Like, what is your view on that?
So what's our imaginations on collaborations with locally famous artists is that we want to tap onto the biggest music genre that's happening right currently. For example, in Singapore, there would be pop. In Vietnam, it would be pop, and Thailand would be pop. We wouldn't say that it's just specifically focusing on pop, but pop and rap would be the 2 main sections that we want to follow on. And as one of our risk mitigation part as well. So traditional music, we wouldn't really not go into traditional music. We can still implement and inject traditional materials into the music so that still in Singapore perspective and Singapore interest is still kind of like a traditional thing, but it's still a pop song. That's if you get what I mean.
May I add on a little bit to Queen's answer as well? So actually 88 Rising before has already collaborated with, for example, a Vietnamese artist in terms of hip hop and rap. And it has shown to be receiving a lot of positive from the audience. So probably she can be the next Higher Brothers or something. But at the same time, as Judge already mentioned, that in Vietnam, for example, the pop music is still dominating. However, hip hop and rap is also entering the market as well with like potential growth. So it has been one of the top 4 trending music for example, in Vietnam. And there are a lot of like famous artists, rappers in Vietnam that are having that are very famous right now. And that's why we want to try to focus on these locally famous artists, no matter what genre they're working on, because we're thinking of, since they're already famous, it's easier to collaborate with them and enter the market and help them also sign with us, because it's a win-win situation. They are working with a so-called big brand around the world, and also we are having a bigger potential to join these markets. Thank you.
Maybe time for a very quick question and answer. Anyone?
If I could ask just a very quick one then. I know that we're going down the diversification route. Do you have any observations on why the niche player doesn't work? Why diversification is preferable? What's something about niche?
We prefer diversification because we see that music preference changes over time. If we only focus on one genre, hip hop and rap, we might lose the trend. We might lose the audience base in the long term. So we're thinking it's better if we could be able to adapt into the growing trend at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Amazing. This team actually always finishes exactly a few seconds before the end. Judges, we will now have a deliberation session.